me and Jackson have made it to the Southeast Gassers event here in Knoxville, and already has been just super cool. We got to meet the guys and gals over at Greg's Speed Shop. They talked about their social media and stuff like that. If you guys haven't seen them, go over there. They're putting up stuff all the time. It's really neat. But just already, we're just making our way down the pit lane. We're just kind of getting the lay of the land and seeing all the cars, because it's been a long time since we've seen them. But just like right here, you've got the Rod Slinger. This thing puts on a show. Like, it is crazy. Again, if you haven't seen his social media, go do that. But just as you go down through here, just you see the different stuff that you see at a Gassers event. And like, where else do you see a Falcon, Mustang, a 55 Chevy down here? There's Anglias over there, Quain's Anglias back there. Just the diversity of cars here are crazy, and just all super nice stuff. So we're just going to ease around the pits here to begin with and just kind of get a lay of the land and see what all's here. I'm here with Greg from Greg's Speed Shop. He's got the Joker Southeast Gasser. I just wanted to introduce everybody a little bit and kind of talk about the different classes and things like that that are here at Southeast Gassers. Greg is racing in the A-Gas class, and I'm going to let him kind of explain to you what that is and then kind of go into the details of his car. So Greg, if you don't care.
Pretty much A-Gas is the fastest cars on the premise. Everything's natural aspirated, weight by cubic inch, 4-speed cars, 10.5-inch wide tires. This car here is 1957 Pontiac, which is an oddball to be here to begin with.
It is, yeah. I told Jackson the same thing. I was like, you don't see many of these.
No, this is, when I first got the car, it was 4,200 pounds. Now we're 2,750, so we lost a lot of weight on the car. Like 477, G-Force transmission, right around 1,000 horsepower. Thing is unbelievable though. But today, the car's running really good last night. Today we feel very good.
Really good? Good.
We feel real good.
Good, that's awesome.
We know we got them talking a little bit today. So.
Right, that's good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we've had nothing but problems all year long, so we're due.
That's good, yeah, that's good. We go help some guys in circle track races and stuff like that, and it's like that. You have those like peaks and valleys in racing. Yeah. It drives me crazy, but it's just the way of the world. So your engine here, so what can you tell me about it? Who built it and kind of a little bit of the details?
Yeah, so 477. Pars built this motor. I bought this from Todd Blackwell, Slingshot, the beginning of this year.
Okay.
And then I got another motor getting done for Pars right now. But this thing's running good right now, so this one can stay in there for a little bit.
That's great. If you guys haven't, that right there is one of the good things about being at a Gasser event. That's the sound you get to hear all day.
That's right.
If you guys haven't already, go check out Greg's Speed Shop. They're on everything: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They're everywhere, and they're doing some really cool stuff. So go check them out. Greg, I really appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, I'm here with Gordon. He's racing in the B gas class, and I wanted to go ahead and let him kind of tell you the difference between A gas and B gas a little, if you can do that for us.
Sure.
I know it's a little bit based on the weight and the power and all that, but if there's anything else that you'd like to add to that, please do.
Sure. So B gas, we carry a little bit more weight. My car here is 366 cubic inches. It's got a weight 2741 as per the sticker. We get a little bit of a weight break.
Okay.
150 pounds off the car for the Hillborn injection
Having
system.
the Hillborn, okay, cool.
And then the Chryslers, I think we're getting 8 pounds per cubic inch
Okay.
off of that.
Okay.
Too. So
Gotcha.
that's kind of the big difference for us.
Right.
B to A is it goes from 6 pounds per cubic inch is kind of the baseline.
Okay.
To 8 pounds per cubic inch for
Okay.
B gas.
Gotcha. So, what got you into Southeast Gassers? So, what got you here?
So I've always really been big into nostalgia drag racing.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a lot of it. Some of the other events that were going on, like the Meltdown Drags in Byron.
Okay.
That kind of set the hook for me there for a while.
Yeah.
I was always really into the 60s style drag racing. I kind of figure that's the golden age of it.
Yeah,
I always
that's fair.
kind of loved doing that. I had street cars and would bracket race, but it was okay.
Just different. Yeah, it's just a different world.
So once the vintage events kind of started taking place locally, I started looking at building this car.
Okay.
And then I was researching a little bit, and I found Quain's Willys build on the Ham.
Yep.
And that was
Sold you.
done. I was
Yeah.
done. So I told my wife, I was like, there's a group, and there was only a few of them at the time, and this is around 2015.
Okay. Oh, so you've been around it for a while.
Well,
now, then.
I bought the car in 2015. I didn't get it done till 2019.
Okay,
So they had
gotcha.
already kind of built the other classes. There was
Right.
only the one class, and I started kind of building towards it. And I thought, well, I'll go down there and race with those guys when I can.
Yeah.
And then by 2019, we had a race in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
And I'm from Indiana.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was my first race
Okay.
in 2019. And been trying to do it as much as we can ever since.
That's
you know,
awesome.
with us being there, it's kind of hard to travel to every race. But
That's
we try
fair,
to make
yeah.
all of them. Yeah, Knoxville's right my favorite.
Randy told us, he was
Yeah.
like, if you're going to come to one, come to Knoxville.
Yeah.
They do such a good job with
Yeah,
it.
it's a great track. It's a great facility. The people are great. The crowds are always great.
Yeah, he said the turnout was going to be big today.
Yeah.
He said they're trying to gun to get the biggest crowd, I think is what their
Yeah,
plan
I
is
hope
for
so.
today.
I hope to see it,
Let's
so.
see. All right, you want to talk a little bit more about the car in general then?
So, I bought it around 2015 in Wisconsin. It's a 1966 Plymouth Barracuda. It was pretty rough, to say the least. I drug it out from the side of a barn, kind of the same story a lot of people have. So from the back, it's still pretty much stock. So I front halved it, is what I
Okay.
say. Like a lot of people will back half a car. This car's basically front half. So it's got the leaf springs in the back. It's still got the factory kind of trunk floor and stuff. There's some patch panels in there. But if you look, it's got the factory wheel tub still. So it's kind of like a car that would have been built in the 60s.
Yeah.
The front was so rotted, I cut it all out.
Right.
And so from the back, basically leaf spring mounts to the front, it's a chassis car. It's a small block Chrysler. It's
Okay.
Hillborn injected.
Yeah.
As you can see.
I love the Hillborn injection.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I tell a lot of people, they've heard this story before. It took me about 20 years to find that manifold. I've been looking for
Really?
one since I was like 16.
Really?
And I actually found it the day I was picking the engine up
Really?
from the machine shop.
It was
And-
meant to be.
Yeah, so the Hillborn for the small block Chrysler is pretty rare. You're not going to see too many of them
Yeah.
out there.
I don't know if I've ever heard of one.
The
so that's-
Chevys, the Hemis, the other more popular engines, hell, even nailheads, they're easy to find. But the small block Mopar is pretty hard to find.
That's cool.
So we stick with it. We stick with running it. It limits us on the cylinder head. We have to use a factory cylinder head.
Okay.
Any of the really high performance small block Mopar cylinder heads have a different intake.
Gotcha.
And it wouldn't fit. So we just like it because it fits the style, it fits the year. That intake was cast in either 1968 or 69.
It's 68 or 69,
Yeah.
so it's perfect then, right? Yeah.
It fits the bill. So,
Good.
it's got a Jericho 4-speed. It's really nothing really all that crazy. It's 366 cubic inches.
Okay.
It's just got Edelbrock Performer heads on it. They're ported out.
Right.
but it's a lot of fun.
No, it looks like a lot of fun. I'm really excited
Sure.
to see this one run. So.
But I built it, I painted it. It was the first race car I ever
So you've
built.
done all of it then. That's great.
Everything except the lettering.
All but the lettering, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The lettering was done by a guy named Little Bill in Indianapolis.
Okay.
He's really good.
Me and my dad are all about that, you know, on our YouTube channel and stuff like that. That's what we do it all ourselves,
Sure.
right? So I love to hear that, especially in an event like this.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's why it took me so long. I mean, I had to learn how
All
to build
of it.
it. And like I said, I looked at Quain's pictures of his and then Gabe's Falcon, and I was just kind of building it
Yeah.
of like so I could fit the rules. I knew if I was doing it their way, it'd work.
Yeah.
And so if you look at some of the little things and you look at their cars, they're almost the same. So I just copycat it.
Hey, that's all right. Hey, that's they say copycatting's like the best form of flattery,
Exactly,
right?
right.
Those guys are the good ones to copy.
Sure.
All right, man. I really
All
appreciate
right,
you being
nice
here.
to meet you.
Thanks.
All right,
we'll
thank
see you
you.
soon.
Take care. Bye.
Something pretty cool that Knoxville Raceway did is they allotted about 50 spots right here, right by the staging lanes here for classic cars to come and park. And I thought that was really cool of them to do something like that. So I wanted to show those off as well. These are not race cars, by the way. They are not with the Gassers. They're not associated with them at all. They're just show cars and people that drove here to see them. But I wanted to show them off because I thought it was cool that Knoxville would do something like this for the fans. I'm here with Diana. She's racing in the C gas class. So we've talked to the A gas and the B gas class. So on the C gas, kind of what's the difference there whenever we go down to that next step?
C gas is 10 pounds per cubic inch.
Okay.
So it's a lot of, a lot of high horsepower, of course, you know, or high RPMs. Most of them, are high RPMs, but they're small motors.
Gotcha.
Yeah, small cubic inch. So, we are not quite there yet. We only turn about 8,200.
Only 8,200.
Only, yeah, only. But you know,
which is crazy to me that these guys are some of them turning 10 and 11. It's nuts.
Now, hopefully next year we got some stuff we want to do in the off season.
Yeah.
We're kind of limited. We got a small conservative cam in it right now, just because we wanted to get the car lined out.
Right.
We started off with a 306, which it was basically training wheels because I had never driven a race car.
Okay.
If it was a standard, it was a tractor or a truck.
Gotcha. Right.
I grew up on a farm.
On that, how did you get with Southeast Gassers? What made you want to crawl in this thing?
When Dana and I, my husband,
Okay.
whenever we first started dating, his brother had an 09 or I think it was an 07 Mustang.
Okay.
GT. Well, he borrowed it one day and took us, on a date. He knew I'd never driven any kind of sports car or anything with high horsepower.
Okay.
Well, horsepower, not really high horsepower.
Yeah.
So he let me drive it, and I was like, if we could ever afford something like this, I've got
Got to do it.
Got to do it.
Got the bug.
2 weeks later, it was, you know, it was meant to be. 2 weeks later, we found an 09 GT, 15,000 miles. So that started to be that's our car. We still have it. It has 262,000 miles on it now.
That's awesome.
Yep. But we took it to the drag strip. I drove it. Didn't know how to do a burnout or anything. You know, went through.
When was this?
This was 2012.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, but that got the snowball rolling.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, you know, you created a monster. Because after that, it was just, you know, we ended up with this, and we were building it as a period correct street car, but it was going to be a gasser.
Okay.
Straight axle gasser. It had an automatic in it.
Okay.
We already had it set up for the automatic.
Right.
And Dana happened to get on Facebook, and it was either one of the Sega posts or somebody was talking about Southeast Gassers, and he just commented, he's like, you know, why don't you have an automatic class? Because, you know, they did run automatic gassers back then.
Right.
I mean, nothing, you know, catty or anything about it, and it kind of blew up from there.
Okay.
It was, you know, a good conversation.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Got you introduced and everything, which is good. Yeah.
So Wayne Stott, he sent us a message and he's like, hey, I've been following your build. I really like your car. I like how you're doing stuff. If you don't mind, give me a call.
Okay.
So Dana called him and he invited us to a race, which we didn't have any idea who Southeast Gassers was. He knew who Wayne Stott was. I had no clue.
Right.
You know, so we went to the first race at, I believe it was Mooresville.
Okay.
It was our first race. You know, it was a family trip. We loaded up, you know, my daughter, my son-in-law, my youngest son, and we went to the race. Well, on the way home, Dana asked me, he's like, so what do you think? I was like, I think we need to trade that automatic
To get it fixed now.
for, you know, a 4-speed, because this is where I want it to be.
Right.
I mean, when we started building it and we were talking about driving it and racing it every once in a while, I was going to drive it.
Okay.
So it was always going to, you know, it was whatever I wanted to do.
It was built to you.
Yes. So I was already friends with, you know, a couple of the drivers' wives, and when we showed up at that first race, they knew us from Facebook, but they had never actually in person met us. But it was a family.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all
That's
just like,
exactly what Randy says every time.
they're
He's like,
all
this
like,
is one big family.
Hey y'all, have you ate yet? Come on over, you know, hang out. And so, I mean, Mary Beth Haynes is my backup girl.
Okay.
Her husband has a Patriot.
Uh-huh. Yep.
We literally talk every day.
Really?
And that was 5 years ago. So I mean, we've become really good friends. Our kids are, you know, growing up together. But I mean, that's how we got started in it. And then once we got started in it, and you know, I kind of
We said earlier, this
Yeah.
is what's great about Southeast
This-
Gassers. That's
yeah.
what you get to hear in the background all day.
this is what it's like. You know, once we got started, the first season, Dana drove just with a different car every single race.
Oh, really?
I mean, we were changing ladder bars, we were messing with the carburetors, we were doing something
Every
different.
time. Yeah.
So after that first year, well actually, at Lassiter Mountain race that first year, I had driven it around testing tune some, and I felt comfortable. And we went to Quayne, and we're like, you know, I'm going to drive now. And he's like, well, if you drive, you're going to lose your points because points
Makes
go with
it-
the
yeah,
driver.
go with the driver, yeah.
So we decided to go ahead and let Dana
Finish
He finished 10th in points that year, and so then the next year is whenever I started.
Gotcha.
So, and
That's
I've
great.
been, my first year I was 10th in points, last year I was 8th in points, I currently sit in 7th right now.
That's awesome. Making gains every
Yeah,
year.
I have sights on top 5. That was my goal for
That's what
this
you want,
year,
yeah.
was to, you know, go rounds and top 5. Awesome. I'm going rounds. I'm going round, I should say. But hey, you know,
Hey, that's what you gotta do.
That's
Just
a
gotta
round.
keep going.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's where we're at right now. We've done some carburetor work, changed some spacers around, trying to get you know, signal to the booster like it's supposed to be.
Okay.
We jetted down, and it's running a lot better this morning when it run last night. I made a couple passes last night.
Yeah.
So
That's good, man. I really appreciate y'all letting us be here and talking to us about this. We're learning as we go too. So
Oh, no
every
problem.
interview is
No problem.
I'm learning something. So
I mean, we've done all the work to the car ourselves except for this motor. This is a 314. We've run it a year. A buddy of ours, Kimmy Adkins, he's the one that's done the put together machine work, that kind of stuff. And
Right.
another buddy, Billy Lloyd, has done some work. You know, we couldn't have put this motor together.
Right. I
The
understand
306 we put together because it was basically it was stock block, stock crank. It was a street motor,
Right.
pretty much. I got it down into the 6.9, and we were happy with it. So then we put the big one in it.
Yeah.
So now we're still learning this one, but we're getting there. But other than that, everything we've done ourselves. We've done the paint. The lettering was done by Larry Conway from Dawsonville, Georgia.
Okay.
He's done Strychnine and Son of Strychnine and Tony Turner's Quick and Dirty.
Okay.
So
The paint schemes and the names and everything, they're awesome. Like, it's just so cool to see. It's like every car has a personality just because of kind of the names and the paint schemes and all that. It's super
this right
cool.
here, Quick Draw, was my father-in-law's CB handle.
Oh, really?
Whenever Dana was growing up.
That's
so
awesome.
that's a shout out to him. Throwback to him. Of course, I know that's just kind of, it kind of fit the cowboy kind of thing. I grew up on a farm. We had the cows. Everything just all kind of
fell together.
Everything was happened for a reason. It was meant to be. So
that's great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It's nice to meet you. See you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Jesse Beaver. Jesse, where you at? Come on up. Jesse's been working on this thing for I think 2 years, and he's finally made it to his first race. He was supposed to have been to Ohio, but the trick here, or what I want to brag about, he built the car himself, and he drove from Maryland, all the way from Maryland. Now think about this, guys. We complain about going from Knoxville to Ohio, or we complain about going. This guy drove from Maryland. Greg drove from Wisconsin. So these guys want to race, and Jesse, thank you. We appreciate your support, buddy. Y'all welcome Jesse to see him. Massachusetts, just to watch this race. Thank you, sir. If y'all see him, just tell him thank you, because there again, we complain about driving 2 or 3 hours to a race. This guy drove Massachusetts to watch. So thank you.
I just wanted to say how great all you guys look on YouTube. I'm from Orange, Massachusetts Airport, from Connecticut Dragway, from New England Dragway, and this is the finest racing I've ever seen. The big money cars just don't have the funding you guys do. And from what I can see here, this is just like family. Thank you very much.
It is family. It is definitely family.
Been a tough year. I know you guys have dealt with rain and stuff. We've dealt with it here all year. So we really appreciate you guys packing this place out. The show y'all bring, we love it. The promoting part of it, guys, that's just natural to me. One of these days I'll learn how to run a racetrack, but I am good on the promoting stuff, I think. But maybe one day I'll figure out the racetrack stuff, but we're getting there. So we appreciate y'all. Make yourselves at home. Have fun this weekend. We can do anything at all for you. Come find us. We'll make it happen. Glad to have you.
I'll tell you, so far we've been having a blast here, getting to interview the drivers and see all these cars. And man, back here, I don't know if we can see it off of this, but man, the fans are starting to roll in. They're going for a record day here. I think Randy said the record was right at 3,000. I think the record for this track was like 2,500 or something like that, I think he said. So they're trying their best to break this record. You heard the track owner talking about how much promotion, and Quayne talking about how much promotion they've done for this event. Super cool. A little bit of a personal achievement for me. Got my first media pass, and that was just pretty cool. So that's, yeah, I don't know, that's just kind of it's pretty neat to be kind of recognized like that, and for them to let us do what we do and run around here and take videos and stuff. So we're gonna get back to it. Here we've got a super stock class car, and I'm here with Randy, and Randy was nice enough to let us see this beautiful car that he's got here. So Randy, tell us about it a little bit.
Okay, this is a 1956 Pontiac Chieftain handyman wagon.
Not something you see every day.
No, it's, after I got into it, it's a one of about 6,000 cars.
Really?
So, very cool. We saved it, saved it from going to the junkyard, and it was a rough car. It needed to be a race car. We tell a lot of people that it runs so good because we saved it.
Right, yeah.
You know,
It wanted to run.
It wanted to run, but it's like I said, 56 Pontiac wagon. We're running a 406 cubic inch with a 30 over 400.
Okay.
It's built by Butler Performance out of Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
The Pontiac guys.
The Pontiac guys. Running a G-Force 4-speed in it, 4.98 rear end. Of course, we got to run on 7-inch tires, but has done really well.
So in this class, what's some of the specifics that set you guys apart from the other classes?
Good. Well, we have to run a stock front end.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest. All these guys got to run a straight axle front end.
Gotcha.
We got to have stock front end. We have to have a stock appearing interior.
Okay.
So we got a factory dash, no aluminum, like a typical race car. If you take the back seat out, you have to have carpet.
Gotcha.
Very restrictive of the motor.
Okay.
Got to be brand specific.
Okay.
In the gas classes, you can run anything and anything.
Okay.
So you could run a Chevrolet and a
So you
Ford.
got to run a Pontiac motor
We
in
run
this
a
car.
Pontiac motor in this class.
Understood.
Ford's got to run a Ford motor and so forth.
Understood.
So, let's see what else. Biggest thing is 7-inch tire.
7-inch
So
tire, yeah.
the Biggie equalizer is that's a whopping 7-inch wide
7
tire.
inches wide. That's
And
crazy.
So
I can't believe you guys are hooking it.
You know, the guys are doing as good a wheelies as they are in gas
That's
classes.
what Randy told me the other day. It's awesome.
This car's a little heavy to do that.
Right.
But it seems to run good. But the 7-inch tire is the big deal.
Yeah,
Everybody runs on this Hoosier 7-inch tire. It is a spec tire.
Spec tire.
And every car in Superstock has.
Didn't they develop this tire for this
They
class?
did. Funny quick story. Hoosier said that's one of the worst tires they ever built, and that will be the equalizer, and nobody will ever do any good. And we got guys out here pulling wheelies 12 foot.
That's awesome.
So, you know, racers do what racers do, and we
They
find
make it
out how to
work.
make it work.
That's right.
But it's fun. It's fun to work on it. We work on the car basically a year back. The Butler motor is my second year on this car. We basically didn't do anything but change the oil.
That's awesome. You can't ask for better than that.
It has been great, but it's a chassis tire class.
Right.
So it makes it fun. You're always chasing it with the shocks and everything.
That's cool.
But
So
anyway.
how did you find out about the Southeast Gassers and what made you want to come out here and do this?
Going to one race. I'll be honest with you. My neighbor, I own a structural steel, stone steel. I own a fab shop in Cookville, Tennessee. And my neighbor is Ron Allison.
Okay.
Of course, he won a championship in 21.
Okay.
And he said, man, you got to come out. He knew I was a gearhead. He said, you got to come out and check this out. I went to one race and said, we've got to build a car.
Do it.
So he got me hooked.
You're not the first person to tell us that today. Just going to one race or just being involved in it all sold them.
It is amazing. Everybody talks about the family attitude. It is the best bunch of people I've ever raced with.
We've
Any man
noticed that
down
too.
here will give me anything now it's a Pontiac, and I'm the
So
only
you're limited.
Pontiac in the whole bunch. The only Pontiac power. We do have Mr. Greg up here running a 57 Chieftain. Of course, he runs big block Chevrolet, which he can do it.
Gotcha.
It's a gas lab. But you know, I got to keep some parts that
Others might not have.
Pontiac starter doesn't. There's nobody Pontiac. So we have to do some things like that. But short of that,
That's good. Hey, I mean, that makes it kind of fun, right? And that's something I talked about here at the Southeast Gassers, man. What you'll see, you can look down the road, you see a bug, you see an Anglia, a Pontiac. I mean, everything. It's great.
And it's great. It's got great fan support. There's a lot of closet Pontiac guys out there. And
Hey, I love a Pontiac.
my guys, Ron and Mickey, Ron Hunter and Mickey Huddleston helped me. Wayne Huddleston helped me, but they painted the car. We did the old school lace job on the top.
I'm gonna get a good shot of
A lot of people like that, but we're just having a blast.
Good.
We're all in our early 60s. It's time to have fun.
Time to have fun. That's good. Hey, man, I really appreciate you
Yeah,
talking to us
no
today.
problem.
Hey, we'll see you later.
Yes, sir.
Please cars, all this lettering is hand done. There's no wraps on them. Everything is hand done. Somebody has taken the time.
All right, I got Scott here from Florida. He's in the H-Gas class. So we've talked to almost all the other classes at this point except for the H-Gas and the AFX. So tell us what H-Gas is.
H-Gas is 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder inline, and even 8-cylinder inline.
Okay.
And we're
I don't think I
per
realized
cubic
you could
inch.
go up to the 8-cylinder inline.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We're weight per cubic inch, 10 pounds per cubic inch on the 6-cylinder, 11 pounds on the 4-cylinder both sides.
Okay.
And we're exhibition class this year until we can get a full 8-car field. We're close this weekend. We
I
had
heard there's
8
gonna be-
registered, but 7 made it.
Okay, I heard that Randy was telling us that
Had
this
one
class
pull
was
out at the
really
last
growing.
minute, but there's several being built for next year.
Okay,
So next year we should have a full 8-car.
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about your car here.
It's a 1960 American Rambler. Rambler American technically.
Okay.
Got a Chevrolet 250 inline 6. 255. This car was originally built by Robert Frazier with the black and blue Barracuda.
Okay,
And
yeah.
his wife Rita drove it in C-Gas for several years with a big block Mopar.
Okay.
And when she retired it, I saw it when I was thinking about H-Gas. What got me on Sega, because I live in the Florida Panhandle, and they raced in Holt, Florida 4 years ago. I went. They came back the next year, and I went. And I said, this is the racing I did in 1973.
Right.
At 4 and 5. I raced back then. And never raced again because I had a family. That took all the money I had. Now I'm retired. I said, I think I can do this. I'm having the most fun I've ever had.
That is really awesome.
really enjoy it.
We've heard that story over and over today. That I went to an event and it hooked me one time.
It hooked me because it's like it used to be. I don't care for bracket racing, nothing against it, but I don't understand it.
Right,
And
exactly.
I understand
When I
full
was a
speed.
kid, that was the hardest thing. Dad would take me to a bracket race. That was the hardest thing for me to understand in a bracket race. This is heads up. It's
First to
cool.
the finish line, no question.
Exactly.
No sitting there waiting while the other guy goes.
Right. So why H-Gas? Why'd you pick H-Gas to get into?
Well, it was different.
Yeah.
Anybody can build a Chevrolet V8 ball block. I did it myself. I never built a 6-cylinder in my life when I built them.
Really?
It's different. There's machines, different combinations. I mean, we got Ramblers, we got Studebakers, we got Barracudas. And it's just kind of a standalone class. It's a lot different than all the other gas.
That's cool, man. And I really appreciate you taking time and talking to us today. It's nice to meet you. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's show you in the shop.
Yeah, thank you.
And I mean, there was no floors.
We're here with Adam Lowhorn. This is the show with Southeast Gassers lately, man. I mean, all these cars are amazing. They do really great. This guy's putting it on the bumper almost every pass, and it's super, super cool to watch. You guys will have seen it at this point that this is happening. Exactly. So, Adam, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm 27. Actually, today's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yeah. So we got the family here and everybody, and it's just about a 4-hour drive here, so it wasn't bad at all. And
So where are you from?
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay, gotcha.
We're south.
So you must be in pretty southern
Yeah,
Indiana.
we're probably 30 minutes from Louisville.
Gotcha.
So we're not far at all. But 4-hour drive, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, that's good.
A lot of guys travel a lot farther than we do, so I can't can't complain about 4 hours.
Right.
But yeah, we're here putting on a show and just having fun. You know, we can't win the whole event, so we're gonna have fun.
That's a good thing. That's
all we can do.
That's what makes it interesting for everybody.
I always tell everybody if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna look good doing it.
Look good. I do say that. All right, talk us through the car a little bit. Just kind of, I'll do some shots around it afterwards, but if you'll just give us a little detail on it.
Yeah, so it's a 61 Falcon. The car was built by my dad whenever I was probably 10 to 12 years old. And so it's been done for a long time.
Really? Okay.
Exactly like this.
Just like this, really?
But it was gray primer, it had a different motor in it.
Okay.
Had an 8 mile motor in it.
Okay.
And it's not a 4-speed. I had the wheels look exactly
just
the same.
like this.
Just had different paint and a mild motor.
Okay.
And he raced it. We drove it to car shows and stuff whenever I was a kid growing up. And just whenever I turned 15, I didn't even have my license yet.
Really?
And he stuck me in it. Made me. I didn't even know how to drive a 4-speed.
Okay. So it had the 4-speed in it and everything.
It had a Saginaw in it.
Gotcha.
And so he stuck me in it. My first pass ever down drag strip, I took off the car.
Oh, really?
And I was mad because I embarrassed myself.
Yeah.
So I come back around and I was mad at that point. So I hammered on it that time, and it's just been downhill ever since.
Yeah, snowballed from there.
And which I drove this car to high school every day growing up. And it was just, it had a heater in it, radio, had a back seat, I mean, had wipers, had everything.
So that's awesome about the car and all of that. So Southeast Gassers, was it at a Southeast Gassers event that your dad put you in the first time?
No.
Okay.
It was just a local track.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and
so how did you guys get hooked up with Queen in the Southeast Gassers?
Well, growing up racing this car, you know, it was slow. It run 820s and 8 miles. You know, it wasn't nothing crazy. And at that point, I got a little older. I was watching the beginning videos of Southeast Gassers.
Gotcha.
When Queen had his primer wheelies.
Yep.
And before white trash, you know, and a bunch of Light Stalker and Tail Rider 55, you know, all the guys. That's I watch YouTube videos a lot, and I was like, man, badass. I started in 2017, and the end of 2016, I went to a couple of shows. I didn't talk to nobody or nothing. I just kind of messaged Wayne on Facebook. I was like, is my car legal? And sent him a bunch of pictures. He said the only thing I had to change was my carburetor sideways and put them in line and change my seats. And one other little thing, I was like, well, that sounds good.
Do that.
But my dad had a really nice 41 wheelies.
Okay.
And that car was, you know, Pro Street was beautiful. And it sat in the garage for a long time. It was kind of one of the things he sacrificed the car to get us going.
To get this where it needed to be.
So he sold that car and it got us a motor and a good transmission. I miss that car to death. I love that car, but it helped us get kind of here.
Well, maybe one day you can find it again. That'd be pretty neat. All right, man. Well, we'll leave you alone. I appreciate it very much. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you all.
And this is the show, man. Well, I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up for the day. If you guys want to see all the coverage from this event, head on over to DH Media. He's going to have it up, and also on the Southeast Gassers page itself and on YouTube. Go check them out. It has been a ton of fun today. We got our first media passes, which was really cool, and we appreciate Randy for having us out, and Southeast Gassers for being awesome, and for all the drivers who let us talk to them and do interviews. Super cool, and a really great day. Hey, hit that subscribe button. If you found this because of Southeast Gassers, we really appreciate it, and if you hit that subscribe button, it'll help us out a ton. Follow us on social media as well. We didn't have a signal here today, so I didn't get to put up a lot. But I try and put up stuff every day if I can. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.